We want to bring in now our social media expert, Dr. Danielle Leek of Johns Hopkins University. And Dr. Leek, you're hearing this about El Sayed, and we've been talking about the progressive candidate, the young vote. What are you seeing now based on these numbers and what we're seeing on social media tonight?
Well, we do know that there is still a lot of excitement on social media, but also a lot of anxiety as we're watching these numbers go back and forth, closer and closer. Some concern that maybe there's still a race to be had between the two candidates, and also some anxiety about whether or not the influencers who are showing up at the party might have a negative impact if Al Sayed does win this primary election. As you know, he's had a few content creators and influencers who are contributing to the sense that he may not be able to do so well in a general election. So we're seeing some chatter about that on the actual platforms. It'll be interesting to see what happens and who he keeps by his side if he wins tonight.
Let's talk more about the influencers because, you know, that's what people are listening to. That's what people are looking at. Once again, it could be a good thing or a bad thing if you're an influencer.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if you're the influencer, I think you are definitely enjoying tonight. There's a lot of attention
Yeah.
happening for people online, and those numbers, those engagement numbers just keep going up. But if you're the candidate, I think there's some increasing concern about whether or not that attention on who you have by your side and who you've let into your house is going to be a negative for you if you happen to win the race. I mean, we know that prior to the race that El Sayed, as we've mentioned before, did everything, the campaign did everything they could to try to scrub social media, past social media posts, taking down some statements that were pretty controversial but have come back and have been talked about a lot in recent weeks. I think it's going to be interesting to see what comes out in the general election if he does win.
And, you know, nonetheless, like his strategy to get the younger voter as a progressive candidate, if he does win, how does that translate into November?
Well, I mean, I think one thing that we'll see is the continued, authentic self, admitting that we all have to be who we are and accept who we are, and that we have to be willing to acknowledge that sometimes we do things that that we may not always be proud of. That's part of what he's been all about throughout this race. And I think we'll see those kinds of authentic statements on social media. But I also think we're going to see a little bit more careful, held to the vest attention about who he spends time with. We might see a little bit, we may see fewer of the let's create video at a pool party type posts. We might see a little bit more professional attention to the types of content that goes live in the general election.
And if Haley Stevens should win the race, what would her approach be in November on social media?
Well, that's a great question. I think that if she wants to see the kind of turnout that she'll need in order to win in the general election, she may have to take a play from her current opponent's book. And I think she's really going to strive to try to build bridges with younger voters and try to make a case online for why they need to be willing to turn out in her favor.
Dr. Danielle Leek, thank you so much for your insight. Johns Hopkins University, formerly of Grand Valley State University. We'll check in with you later. Thank you.